Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Molly and this is Good Wellbeing ASMR. So I'm doing another soft spoken one today. I'm going to do another book haul of my childhood books. I've done one and I think it was quite well received, so I wanted to do another video. I haven't actually read all of these books, but I have read some of them, so I'll talk through. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. As per usual, I do just want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. Thank you to anyone who has liked or left some really lovely comments. I do appreciate it. I am obviously trying my best, so I do appreciate not all of my ASMR is that great for everyone. But yeah, if there is any particular videos people would like me to do, let me know. Okay, so let's get on to the main content of the video. So as we can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books here. And these are some books that I've remembered from my childhood. So I'm just going to pop these ones just to the side, because the ones I do have here, as you can see, are all by the same author. I mentioned this in my last book haul of my childhood favourites. Michael Morpurgo is probably one of my favourites, if not the favourite childhood author. And I found these books that I own. Obviously I showed one in the other video that I've done. I've read Friend or Foe. I've also read The Sleeping Sword. But the other 1, 2, 3, 4 here I haven't actually read. So we'll just have a look at the ones that I haven't read. Here we go. We have Michael Morpurgo's The Wreck of Zanzibar. Now I did nearly read this because I started it. I remember starting it, but I didn't finish it. So maybe one day I will read it. But I'll just have a read at the back. So The Wreck of Zanzibar. There's never been a girl rowed out in the gig, not on this island, not on any island, and you'll not be the first, do you hear me? Laura longs to go out on the gig with the men from Briar, sailing to the boats that run around near the island. It is 1907, and life on Sicily Isles is bleak and difficult. When disaster strikes, Laura and her family need nothing less than a miracle to survive. Some nice illustrations in there actually, you can see. Yeah. It's illustrated by Christian Birmingham. But yeah, that's the book I haven't read properly, so I think I started it but I didn't finish it. So this is Billy the Kid, illustrated by Michael Foreman. Yeah, they do have quite nice illustrations in Michael Morpurgo's books. So I'll read the bit of the back. I was faster than all the kids twice my age, and somehow I could always make a football do whatever I wanted it to. It just became easy to me. I don't know why, but it did. The only thing Billy ever wanted to do was play for Chelsea. His dream came true when he was picked for the team, but that was 1939, and the Second World War began, and then Billy's life, like everyone else's, was changed forever. Billy's no kid now. He's 80 today, but he's got memories, such memories. You can see I got this for 50p, probably from a charity shop. Yeah, you can see some illustrations. So yeah, I don't think I did read this one. I'm now questioning myself, and potentially I did when I was very, very young. I'm not sure. I don't know, it rings a bell. But yeah, another Michael Morpurgo. So, this one, Toro, illustrated by Michael Foreman as well. I also bought this for 50p, probably bought them together. I think instead of reading this one, I'll just do some sounds. Okay, so this one's called Why the Whales Came. Again, it's one that, like, there's a part of me thinks, did I read it or did I not? I probably started it. I think that's why I've got these questions. But yeah, I'll read a bit of the back. So, Why the Whales Came. You keep away from the birdman, warned Gracie's father. Keep well clear of him. Gracie and her friend Daniel, ignoring the warning, and they discovered the birdman is not mad and dangerous, as everyone says. He claims Samson Island is cursed and tells them to stay away. After the children are stranded on Samson by fog, Gracie returns home to learn of a tragic death. Could the birdman be right after all? A story rich in mystery and superstition. It's a nice front cover. To be fair, all of Michael Morpurgo's books have nice front covers. Okay, so they're the ones that I don't think I've read, or I definitely haven't read all of. So moving on to these books that I have read, and as I've said, the first two are part of the Michael Morpurgo set. So this one, which is Michael Morpurgo, The Sleeping Sword, again illustrated by Michael Foreman. Some illustrations in there. Now, I remember loving this book. This is, like, I think, my favourite Michael Morpurgo. Maybe even one of my favourite children's books ever. So, I'll just read a little bit of the back. The Sleeping Sword. I felt all around me. On every side there were earth walls. In a panic I groped above me for the hole I must have fallen through. I tried again and again to haul myself up, but the soil roof kept giving away and falling in on me. I must have been aware of the rumble of the tractor, but only now did I realise it was close and coming closer. It was heading straight for me. Bun Bendel stumbles one day into an underground tomb containing a shield and a beautiful ancient sword. As he touches the hilt, his whole body is gripped by an incredible centuries-old power. It is a power that will change Bun's life forever. Might as well do some sounds with this one. So yeah, that was The Sleeping Sword. Next we have Friend or Foe by Michael Morpurgo. So this is the final one in the set that I have here today. So yeah, I remember this one vividly because I read it in my own time, but then also I think it was discussed in, like, one of my English classes when I was at school. So I think I've got quite a more of a deep memory than the others. But yeah, I mean, it was very emotional. I remember that. I think I might have pulled up or cried. Let's just read the back. So, because again, as I've said in my other videos, I get so scared about giving away things. I think it's best I just let the person who wrote the back text say what it's about instead of me. So, there was nothing threatening or frightening about them. They were just two exhausted, pale-looking men with sad eyes and kind faces. These were the men who had bombed London and Plymouth and killed thousands, yet one of them had saved his life. In the Second World War, and the Germans are bombing London, everyone hates them, especially David. They killed his father. Now, because of the Blitz, David and his friends, Ducky, have been evacuated to the countryside where they must live with strangers. Then one night they see a German plane crash on the moors. They feel they should hate the airmen inside, but can they just leave them to die? I think it's probably an important read in some respects. But yeah, this book was, I felt like, probably one of Michael Morpurgo's best. It really pulled at the heartstrings. It did make you question things as well, actually. For a child's book, it was pretty deep, in my opinion. And it is, you know, There's a little bit of a human level to it, where you're meant to hate someone, but can you when you meet them on an individual level? So yeah, it was a really really good read. And to be honest, I think actually I know this is a children's book, but I think there's some adults who might even be entertained by it. Like I'm contemplating rereading it. Yeah, obviously it's still one of the books from my childhood, and it probably up there in my top kind of reads, really. Okay, moving on. Now the next 4 books I have obviously aren't Markham or Pergo, some I remember more than the others. This book here, Eager by Helen Fox, a funny emotional adventure. Now this was a strange read, but I loved it. I actually had a look at it a little bit last night. By the way, sorry, this is so badly kept. It's a really bad condition. I think I had it since the age of like 9 years old, 10 years old. But I think I read it when I was a little bit older, maybe 11. I actually can't remember, but it was like really futuristic. So it's about Eager, who's a robot, and he goes to live with a family and he helps them out. But also in it, like, the house speaks to the family. Like, it's just, I mean, really now we just call it Alexa. But it's like Alexa's built into the house. But yeah, it's funny because obviously this was written, how was this written? Let's find out. So this was written in 2003, which means that is over 20 years ago now. Which means things have changed a lot. So actually some of the futuristic stuff that is in here we've kind of already got in a little bit of a way, just not to the extent. And yeah, I do think actually Eager, he does look quite sweet and he's a really cool character, but even the way he looks doesn't look very modern, does he? But yeah, I love this blue. It's I don't know, like one of my favourite colours. I'm very like, I don't know, I was going to say quite simple. My favourite colours are like pink and blue, basically. And I really love this blue. I do like red for my nails though, actually. Sorry, that's completely away from talking about books. But yeah, I love the front cover. And I really like the character. So let's just give it a little bit of a read from the back, then we'll move on. So, am I human? Am I a machine? Well, I'm eager. I'm an experiment, EGR3. I'm not like other robots programmed about how to behave. The professor built me to learn from my experiences. I can choose what to do. I'm off to live with the Bell family. They're used to robots, talking houses and intelligent fridges, but what will they make of me? How will I get to compete with those glamorous new BDC4s? Gonna be honest, there are quite a few stories like this about robots who have been given the opportunity to think for themselves. I mean, I don't know, not that this story is similar to it, it's completely different types of characters in there, but like the one that comes to mind is iRobot. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but Sunny. I mean, oh my goodness, iRobot's one of my favourite films of all time. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. But there's also a recent film about robots that I watched on Netflix. I know Megan Fox starred in it, but I don't know who else. I can't remember the actors. You know, that one was about a robot. Megan Fox, the actress, played a robot. And that was really good. So yeah, I like these type of, but they always end up thinking for themselves, don't they? And I feel like maybe it should be a warning to all the scientists out there trying to get robots into our lives. But I've seen enough disasters in the movies and in the books. Although, talking about this book, Eager's quite a nice robot. Mind you, I don't actually remember. I don't want to give anything away, but I don't think I can, because I don't really remember what happened much. I just remember liking it. I don't know if anyone else has this about books they read like so long ago. Let's do a few sounds with this one. Now I move on to the last 3. really like the sound of book triggers, so yeah, I really enjoy those types of sounds, but I'm aware not everyone likes them, so sorry if that is interrupting my chats about them. Okay, that was Eager, so a really good book. Okay, this one, A Faraway Place by Harriet Graham. Compulsively readable, books for keeps says. I'm going to be honest, it was. I couldn't put it down. I remember that, and again, I remember briefly about what it was about. I think I was a bit older when I read this one compared to Eager. It was about two children where their dad had, like, abducted them. But the thing is like, the dad was nice to them, so it wasn't like a horrible book. It's kind of seeing it from the children's perspective. It's like quite simply explained, and they're not really aware of what the seriousness is. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like a horrible book, even though it's about a horrible topic in a way. I read the back, so it's all happening very fast. 10 years old, in a foreign country, far away from mum, friends, school, and in charge of his little sister. It starts with an unexpected visit from Dad. The visit becomes a weekend, then a trip to France. But something's wrong. Sean's not allowed to phone Mum. They're trapped, and it doesn't look as if they'll ever go home again. Let's just read a little bit of the start. Sorry, I'm bending the book. I know people don't like it when I do that. Okay, so to begin with, everything happened very fast. The waiting and the watching were to come much later. It was then, during the long hot afternoons, when nothing but the cries of the circling birds far above their heads broke the silence, that Sean would go over and over it all in his mind, rerunning the sequences of that day until they seemed as unreal as an old film. Somehow, he ought to have been able to make it different, but how? What was the question he kept asking himself? It had started as quite an ordinary day, just the usual sort of Thursday. It was October, the week before half-term. That evening, Sean was going to ask his mum if he could go to a school trip. But no, it was a really good book, very exciting. Let's do some sounds. Okay, so we have two left here. Both are quite sad books actually. So this one's called My Brother's Ghost by Alan Alberg, and this one's called After the Death of Alice Bennett by Roland Belloni. And actually I met him, I think I was like age 11 or 12, but I was part of this reading group in my school, and which is funny actually, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not the biggest reader. I think I read loads when I was younger, but now I think I've mentioned in other videos that I like reading more non-fiction than fiction. But when I was like a child, a teenager, I did read more, to be fair. But yeah, I was part of this like book group, and I think like now I wouldn't probably read the books in time. Anyways, things change. I suppose you have more time when you're this age, aren't you? So anyways, yeah, so I went with this book group to meet the author, and I won't show the front page of the signature because it's got my full name on. Yeah, so he signed a copy, and I spoke to him and I had a photo with the author, which is really cool actually, to be fair. I still remember the Q&As, some of the questions I asked him. He was very friendly. Okay, so let's just have a look at this one, then we'll go on to My Brother's Ghost afterwards. So, Mum has died. Sam knew that, but before she died, Mum said she would still be alive but in the next world, and she seems to have left a contact telephone number in the kitchen. An unsigned text message on the day of Mum's cremation set Sam thinking, what if Mum is trying to get in touch with him? When he tentatively texts back and gets a reply, He's convinced it's from Mum and that she's trying to give him clues to follow. Surely it'll only be a matter of time before he sees her again. But who is Sam really texting? Whose is the number in the kitchen? And why is somebody responding to the boy's lonely, hopeful messages? Yeah, it's quite emotional actually. Sorry, I seem to have picked some emotional ones, and they're all children's books. But actually, yeah, but in some ways, sorry, I'm getting very weirdly philosophical today, but I think they have actually all shaped me in a way. They shaped the people who read them. That's why, like books and music and films, they all have an effect on people, don't they? Anyways, but yeah, so this book was like one of those stories where you feel so sorry for the young boy, but you can see how this happens. Like, you can see why he thought it was his mum. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, that's my problem, but it had actually, I felt like it was a good ending to the story. I felt like it was really well written. Again, I'm trying not to give things away. Okay, let's read a bit of the first page and then we'll do some sounds. Chapter 1. We've got Mafia waiting outside the crematorium. Sam repeated Becky's dry observations silently to himself. What did she mean? He looked up at his sister, but she had buried her face in Dad's neck for a few moments. Her knuckles were white, gripping his arm. Hey, hold on, lass, Dad was saying. There, it's okay, we're nearly done here. Listen, Becky, love, I've got to talk to folk while they come out. You take Sam over the way, have a sit down under the tree. We'll go home in a few minutes. Sam watched Becky and his dad clenched, holding on to each other. They had just come out of the chapel, the three of them, ahead of all the people. They had just this moment together, then it was over and the double doors burst open behind them and people spilled out, a tide of people parting and flowing at either side of them, pulling off jackets and loosening ties and dabbing their eyes with tissues, all heading for the open doors and the sunlight. So yeah, there's proper sad moments in this book, but there's also some quite lovely ones as well, if that makes sense. But yeah, Roland Maloney after the death of Alice Bennett. See when this one was written. I'm finding it interesting. People are going to start finding it interesting. – 2007. Yeah, it does be later, this one. Okay, there we go. Final one, My Brother's Ghost. So yeah, another very sad one, I'm going to be honest. This one's very short. How many pages is that? 70. Yeah. So a nice quick book. Penguin. A marvellous evocation of a working class 1950s childhood and a spine-tingling ghost story. It's The Guardian. Then the Times educational supplement says, this book will become a classic. It is full of jewels. Philip Pullman, his famous author, says Alberg is a genius with details and the way the story is resolved shows his invention at its best. Then Brian Patton says, a highly original tale of great purity, set to become a classic. So I bought this for $3.99. Okay, so chapter 1, The Funeral. He was 10 when it happened, and I was 9, and Harry was 3. Running out into the street after Rufus, he was hit by nothing more than a silent, gliding milk float. His head cracked down against the pavement edge. A fleck of blood rose up between his lips. His legs shook briefly, one heel rattling like a drumstick against the side of the float, and then he died. My brother, my clever, understanding older brother, my best friend and biggest pest of course sometimes, the sharer of my secrets, the buffer between me and Harry and dead. The milkman I remember was in tears, smashed bottles at his feet, milk running in the gutter. I had hold of Harry's head, Rufus all unconcerned, still prancing about. 4 days later the funeral, a pair of black cars, men in black suits, flowers and wreaths, the vicar. Harry and I was there. Uncle Stan said we should go home, Auntie Marge said we should go, so we went. Yeah, it's very sad to start, but I think it does get a little bit better. I mean, as it says, like, it's about a ghost story, so his brother who passes away does come back as a ghost. So it's quite an interesting read, particularly for the age group. And as you can see when I read that part, it's like really easy and it flows. So it's quite good in terms of the age. Okay, let's just do some book sounds before we finish. Okay, so My Brother's Ghost by Alan Allberg, After the Death of Alice Bennett by Roland Maloney, A Faraway Place by Harriet Graham, Eager by Helen Fox, and then we've got the Michael Morpurgo's Friend or Foe, The Sleeping Sword, Why the Whales Came, Toro Toro, Billy the Kid, and then The Wreck of Zanzibar. And these make another nice collection of some of my old books that I used to read during my childhood. So yeah, that's the end of the video today. Hopefully it's been relaxing and some people got some tingles or fell asleep to it. And as I said, I will do another whispering video at some point, but I do think people are probably preferring my soft spoken from what I'm gauging. But yeah, have a lovely rest of your day everyone, evening or night. Thank you again for watching. Thank you everyone for subscribing, putting nice comments and liking my videos. I do appreciate it. But other than that, see you all on the next video. Bye everybody. Bye.